Thanks for joining us tonight for NTV News at 10. I'm Aaron Scott. To celebrate Renewable Fuels Month, Governor Pete Ricketts took part in a ribbon cutting at Grand Island Bosselman Travel Center to celebrate their new Flex Fuel pumps. The center's Flex Fuel pumps now dispense E85, E30, and Clean 88, also known as E15. And according to the Nebraska Ethanol Board, 1 in 7 Nebraskans own a Flex Fuel vehicle, which can run on any blend of American ethanol up to E85.
Renewable fuels are great for the consumer. It will reduce your cost of fueling up. It's great for the environment. It's also great for Nebraska. And by having this along Interstate 80, we help expose a lot of people outside the state of Nebraska to all those benefits.
Governor Ricketts joined in the celebration by helping pump fuel. He also said they believe this is the largest renewable fuel station in the country alongside Interstate 80. Hall County will officially have a new sheriff next year. The county's official results released today. 25-year Deputy Rick Conrad has a total of 2,461 votes, while incumbent Sheriff Jerry Watson garnered 2,380. This evening, Watson put out a statement on his Facebook page about the loss, saying, in part, quote, "Sometimes it is difficult to understand why something happens, but I will say I feel confident that I will still be able to contribute in some form or fashion," end quote. Watson has been Hall County Sheriff for 19 years. Ten people are dead tonight following yet another Central school shooting. Jordan Bontic reports from Santa Fe, Texas.
For how tragic it was just down the street in the community of Santa Fe.
As Police Week comes to a close, Nebraska is paying tribute to its law enforcement who have made the ultimate sacrifice while serving. Today, a police officer from Thurston County being honored in Grand Island. Ifesanachi Ibo Simba has the story.
Flags are waving at half-staff here today at the Nebraska Law Enforcement Memorial.
When we come back, Kent has the latest on storms after the break, plus we'll have a look back at day 1 of state track. And as we go to break, NTV's Ifesanachi Ibo Simba has a preview of what else is coming up on NTV News at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us on NTV News at 6. A former fugitive is headed back to prison. Alex Solis shot a woman in Grand Island last fall, and this morning he faced a judge. Steve White has more from Grand Island. Thanks, Steve. And in Buffalo County, it's prison time for a man convicted of stealing drugs from 2 Kearney pharmacies. According to court records, Jal Thong has been ordered to 4 to 6 years with credit for a year already served. The 23-year-old will also have to pay more than $4,000 in restitution to ABC Drug and Medicap Pharmacy. And in Hall County, a woman sentenced for Keno fraud. Rhonda Richardson of Ball Sports Bar in Grand Island pled no contest to illegal lottery participation and extending credit to buy lottery tickets. She'll have to pay more than $250 in fines and spend the next 12 months on probation. People are invited to discuss trade, tax reform, and immigration and the Farm Bill with Congressman Adrian Smith. He's hosting 4 events across the 3rd District from July 2nd to the 6th, with stops in Mitchell, Binkelman, Hyannis, and Hemingford. Constituents will be able to meet directly with Congressman Smith to discuss top issues. For more information on those meeting times, visit our website at nebraska.tv. Helping busy moms and Mother Earth. That's the concept behind a new business that's recently expanded in Kearney. It's a diaper service that says they bring the affordability and convenience of disposable diapers to cloth-using moms and caretakers. NTV's Jessica Stevenson has more. For families that aren't quite ready to take the plunge into cloth diapering, there are disposable diapers that claim to be biodegradable and plant-based. In national news, the FBI agent behind thousands of anti-Trump text messages met privately with lawmakers on Capitol Hill today. A group grilled Agent Peter Strzok, and national correspondent Michelle Macaluso is following this story for more. This brings us to our question of the day. Do you trust the FBI? Head over to nebraska.tv to vote. Still to come on NTV News. A family service in Kearney is letting moms and caretakers ditch the disposable diaper for an eco-friendly solution. Jessica Stevenson has more. And Wimbledon is just days away. Dave Greek will have the latest details in sports. Good evening and thanks for joining us now for NTV First at 5. We begin with huge news as Senators Deb Fischer and Ben Sasse could be voted to approve another new Supreme Court justice soon. Today, Justice Anthony Kennedy announced he's retiring. ABC's Janae Norman is in Washington tracking the latest reaction. Cattle reach the danger zone as it heats up across Nebraska. Nebraska Extension educators say it's important to understand the relationship between temperature and humidity. Experts advise cattle feeders to limit movement and try to handle cattle in the early morning hours. Cattle feeders say they take it very seriously. Nebraska leads the nation for cattle on feed. Cattle feeders are also encouraged to remember human stress and make sure workers have breaks and plenty of water. A group of ag businessmen traveled nearly 6,000 miles to learn everything they can about agriculture here in the United States and here in central Nebraska. NTV's Alex Whitney had the chance to tag along with them today during their stop in Grand Island. A former fugitive is headed back to prison. Alex Solis shot a woman in Grand Island last fall. And this morning he faced a judge who sentenced him to 5 to 7 years in prison, with a mandatory minimum of 3 years before he's eligible for good time. He was previously convicted as part of a plea agreement. The original charge of attempted second-degree murder was reduced to an amended charge of possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. Steve White has more from the courtroom tonight at 6. A Douglas County Sheriff's Office is asking for help identifying a man who was found with a stolen car Sunday. Deputies found the man getting out of the car near 78th and Vane Streets in Omaha. They say he followed the deputies' commands until a second car pulled up. Then he dove through the open passenger side window. The second car is believed to be a black Pontiac Grand Prix with chrome rims, the sheriff said. Anyone with information is urged to call 402-440-6000. Any information that leads to the arrest could lead to a cash reward from Crime Stoppers. Now back to the Supreme Court for a major decision regarding labor unions. Ruling workers can no longer be forced to pay dues to them if they choose not to. Sinclair's Christine Frisell breaks it all down for us. Senator Ben Sasse agreeing with the ruling, saying, quote, "Today was a victory for the First Amendment and a victory for the rights of workers to make their own decisions about who speaks for them and which organizations they choose to pay dues to," end quote. Over on Capitol Hill, the House of Representatives failed to pass a major immigration bill on Wednesday, despite a delayed vote and a last-minute push by President Trump to shore up support for the bill. 301 voted against the bill, 121 voted for it. The legislation would provide a path for citizenship for recipients of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, as well as $25 billion for border security, including the president's border wall. Ken's back in next with your full forecast, including more on the heat that is headed our way. Plus details about a new drug designed to help people suffering from seizures. And we remember Joe Jackson, the father of the Jackson family dynasty.